For our next training session, we're going to be looking at geographical divisions, or the way we sort of divide things up so that we are able to understand the world at sort of a deeper level. This is going to help us with our foundation in social studies, so let's go ahead and continue. Our objective for these training session notes are to understand the key imaginary geographical divisions, including the equator, prime meridian, international dateline, and other significant lines, and learn how they impact time zones, navigation, and climate. So a lot to tackle really quickly. Let's go ahead and get into it. For our introduction to geographical divisions, let's say that these divisions are lines drawn on a map and globes to help describe locations on Earth. It goes a little bit deeper and more complicated than that, but that's where we'll start. These lines assist in things like navigation, timekeeping, and understanding climatic zones, so things related to the climate. Let's look at the equator first, probably the most famous one of these that we're going to look at. The equator is an imaginary line that divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemispheres. It's the widest part of the Earth and is located at 0 degrees latitude. Its impact on the climate is that regions near the equator typically have a tropical climate with little variation in temperature throughout the year. Countries like Brazil, Kenya, and Indonesia are located on or near the equator. The next one of these we want to look at is the prime meridian. The prime meridian is an imaginary line that runs from the North Pole to the South Pole, and it passes through Greenwich, England. Its significance is that it is located at 0 degrees longitude, and it serves as the starting point for measuring longitude. Remember when we said imaginary at the beginning? These lines obviously don't actually exist. There is no line that bisects the Earth for the equator or for the prime meridian. These are things that humans created so that we could better read, understand maps, basically just process geography as a whole. The impact on time zones for the prime meridian is that it is the basis for Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT, and the world's time zones. Whatever time zone you're in is dictated by your distance from the prime meridian. The Royal Observatory in Greenwich is a key landmark on the prime meridian. So if you think of Greenwich, England, or GMT, you should be thinking of Greenwich Mean Time and the prime meridian. The international date line is an imaginary line that roughly follows the 180-degree longitude line, but it deviates in places to avoid splitting countries into different days. So it separates one calendar day from the next. Crossing the international date line from east to west adds a day, while crossing from west to east subtracts a day. So if you look at the line right here, you'll see that it is split, because remember, this is human created. But essentially, as time passes, you have to go to another day. So what they've done is they've made that line so that if you are in a country, you are not going to have one part of your country be June the 23rd and another part of your country be June the 24th. It's going to keep that date connected. The line deviates eastward so that Kiribati has the same time as New Zealand. That's why you have some of these. You can see those locations like Midway Island, Tonga, and the Chatham Islands right down here, or Chatham Island. The Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. The Tropic of Cancer is an imaginary line located at 23.5 degrees north of the equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degrees south of the equator. These lines mark the farthest points north and south where the sun can be directly overhead. Areas between these lines are known as the tropics, characterized by warm temperatures year-round. Countries like Mexico, India, and Australia are located near these tropics. So you can see the lines going around there, like that. It's the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. The Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle are an imaginary line located at 66.5 degrees north of the equator, and the Antarctic Circle is at 66.5 degrees south of the equator. These circles mark the regions where, for at least one day a year, there is a 24-hour period of either continuous daylight or darkness. These regions experience extreme seasonal variations in daylight and darkness. So, for example, Norway and Alaska lie within the Arctic Circle, while Antarctica is within the Antarctic Circle. You can see down here the Arctic Circle. Over here, extremely north, you're getting bits of Canada up there. You're getting bits of Norway, etc. We've looked at longitude and latitude in our discussions of geography before, but these are also important to look at again. Latitude lines run parallel to the equator and measure north to south position, while longitude lines run from pole to pole and measure east to west position. So longitude up and down, for example, with our prime meridian, and latitude, we've got horizontal here, with our equator as the example here in the middle. These lines form a grid system that helps in precisely locating any point on Earth. They're used in GPS systems and mapping for accurate navigation, and you can see some examples of coordinates here. Now, we've looked at a lot really quickly. Let's see what you can remember. One imaginary geographical division is not a straight line, deviating to the east so Kiribati has the same time as New Zealand. Which line below separates one day from the next? Is it the equator, the prime meridian, the international date line, or the Tropic of Taurus? See if you can use some context clues if your memory doesn't hold up for this one. See if you can get the answer correct. Let's go ahead and check. The correct answer is the international date line. The international date line is the line that separates one calendar day from the next, deviating eastward to ensure regions like Kiribati share the same day as New Zealand. Some incorrect answers would be the equator, which divides the Earth into northern and southern hemispheres, but does not affect the date. The prime meridian, which is the starting point for longitude, but does not separate calendar days. And the Tropic of Taurus, which is not an actual geographical division, it's just kind of a trick. So that's a little bit of information on some of our imaginary geographical divisions that we as humans have created so that we can actually interpret maps. Hopefully some of those will begin to stick so that you can use them when they come up later on when you're looking and interpreting maps and information. Thanks for learning.